Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 5 of the ARC GR3 Championship season. My name is Lateral G, and I'm joined in the commentary booth by
Savoy. How are you doing, Lateral?
I'm doing quite good, and I'm actually quite excited for this race. We are here at Tokyo, the Tokyo Expressway. I have to admit, it's one of my favorite tracks in all Gran Turismo Sport. The driving you have to do here is a bit different than what you normally do on the rest of the tracks in the game. You got walls on both sides of you. You have to make sure you get as close as you can to them just to try and maximize your lap time. So it should be a really awesome race here today.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think this is going to be a very exciting race. So hopefully it's going to be a lot more better than what we saw last week at the Nürburgring, because at least it's daylight this time. So we'll see over cars this time.
All right, well, before we jump into things, let's have a look at our points previews after the last round at Nürburgring. Currently, Team 2 still leading the way with the 1,420 points, with actually not too large of a gap over Good Smile Racing in second place. Only it looks to be about 16 points behind, and the G-Chars are looking pretty strong here today. So for maybe once, we can actually see Good Smile Racing back on top of the constructors' points. Always Ultra Racing in the Ford Mustangs not too far behind there. We have Mr. Motorsport in 4th, Dynasty 5th, Brian with the Citroens in 6th place, plus Ultra and the AMGs in 7th, Yellow Sea Racing in 8th, Pangalactic Gargo Blasters in 9th, and then in 10th place we have Global Offensive Racing. To our drivers' points, Alex Rogers still leading the way, and this time by a hefty margin. I believe you said it was roughly, 85 points between Alex Rogers and now Willie Wugg in second place. We have Thomas TT in third place. Not too bad of a finish for him so far in the season with this race and one more race left to go in the season. So hopefully he can try and salvage a good result here for the Lexus. We have Dan's in fourth place doing an excellent job after his not that strong of a start in the season, currently up into fourth place. And overall, it's actually a really close battle for second place. I'd say it goes all the way from second place to 7th. There's only roughly 50 points between second place and 7th place. So it's up in the air who can really get on the podium for the Drivers' Championships in our Tier A. And one thing I do want to highlight, Chile in 9th place, 427 points after missing that round at Nürburgring. He's dropped all the way from second place down to 9th. Over to our Tier B championship, we have Nugatti currently leading the way with 405 points. He's done excellent so far to make the qualifying in Lobby A, so score some solid points for him in Team Dynasty. We have Jans in second place in his Volkswagen. Mermaid Bubble in third place, trying to do his best that he can. Matty fourth, Law 226 in fifth. And then on to Tier C. Techno Guy currently leading the way with 256 points. We have Pierre CDB in second with 218. And then we have Chris FO in the Citroen in third place. But he does have a 3-place grid penalty for this race. And another thing to note, I believe it was Law 226 in Tier B. He does have to correctly serve his drive-through this time around. He knows how to serve it now as he didn't correctly serve it at Nürburgring. So he still has to serve it again for this race. And that will cover our points roundup. So let's move on to your famous track guides and show our viewers a lap around here in Tokyo.
We are going street racing for the penultimate round in which the championship could be clinched at Tokyo South Inner Loop. Just over 4 miles long, 16 corners in all. It's a technical track. I like to call this the Monaco Grand Prix of GT Sport, but a lot faster. Lots of straightaways, but there's some sharp corners to cut you out. It's a very unique racetrack. Pit lanes nowhere near the start-finish line. So let's take you on board with me around a hot lap. So this is a lap around the Tokyo South Inner Loop with me, myself, behind the wheel of the Porsche 911. Across the start-finish line we go to start at this hot lap. We're going into 5th gear, about 155 miles an hour before breaking down 4th gear, 120 for turn 1 cannon, breaking the 50-meter board. Now we're onto a long straightaway which will basically favour the Citroens, the Nissans, the Toyotas, the Astons. Everyone will want to be in the slipstream of each other when it comes to qualifying, because this track is predominantly and mostly known by having a lot of straight lines. Anyway, coming into turns 2, 3, 4, 5 for DHL Dockyard. Brake at the start of the curb before going into turn 2. 60 miles an hour through turns 2 and 3. Then it's about 75 through turns 4, and then it's about 85 through turn 5. Be careful, do not go underneath the curb. You will pick up a hefty penalty through turn 5. Then into turn 6, use the red and white arrows for the reference where to brake, then swing right. Very easy to hit the wall. Now we're on to the backstretch, which is anything but straight. Go through a penalty burn where it ends, going into the end of the tunnel. This straightaway is just over 1 mile long, so again, very easy to try and get some slipstream, especially when it comes to qualifying. This is the Gran Turismo Expressway. We're going through turn 10. Believe it or not, this Porsche can actually go into 6th gear. Believe it or not, in all the tracks I've raced in, it's the only track I know that this Porsche can go into 6th gear. Anyway, turn 11, the Fujiwara hairpin, break down 1st gear. There's the pit lane, which is about 30 seconds away from where the start-finish line is. But you want to be braking in between 150 and 100 meter boards. Now then, up through the gear into 4th gear. That's turn 12 that we just went by, and now this is Pandora's box. Turn 13, you want to stay in 4th gear, 120 miles an hour, and then step down a gear to 3rd. It's a fast chicane. It's turn 14, turn 15, up to 4th. Little deceleration there, not just to fight the understeer. The final corner, turn 16, again down to 3rd gear, about 95 miles an hour, and again onto another straightaway. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a lap around the Tokyo South Inner Loop.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for qualifying, now underway. Stig currently the first one to cross the line, get his lap started underway here. Very unique track configuration, as Sadly pointed out in the track guide, that the pit lane is almost on the other side of the track where the start-finish line is.
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds away from the start-finish line in the Fujiwara hairpin. So I don't recall a racetrack having a pit lane not there side by side with the start-finish line.
Now,
Not that I can recall of anyways.
It's not very common. I think the only tracks that have done it have been tracks in Gran Turismo games. The only one I can think of is, I believe it's pronounced Eiger Norwind, the mountainy track that we normally had in pretty much every other Gran Turismo other than this one. So, other than that one and this one, I believe these are two unique in their configuration here. So as Stig rounds the last corner here, let's see how the times will stack up here. Crosses the line here. Yeah, there goes 155.8. That's actually a rocket ship of a lap for a very first lap.
Yeah.
As Alex Rogers actually beats him in his Beetle.
Just when you said Stig was on a fast lap, there goes Alex Rogers, the championship leader, post up. What was that? 55.7.
Yep, 55.7.713. So currently provisional, Alex Rogers, Stig, and Chili in his Citroen. And then we have Beckham in second, which actually a solid lap for him in his Mercedes, but that might have been aided for him with it looked like maybe a bit of a draft from their Thomas TT there. And Thomas in provisional 5th place, Jake Dan Harry in 6th, Benji, the new driver to the championship, in 7th place, Tay in 8th, PKMZ in 9th, Kobu GT in 10th, Willie Wug in 11th. No, excuse me, Dan's in 11th, Willie Wug in 12th, and Kev Meister in 13th. No Arc Lemmy for this race. We haven't seen him for the past few, but I believe he's been busy with schoolwork, so we wish him well with that.
I think one thing we need to notice here is this is predominantly known for having straightaways, so you will see a few guys when they get into the slipstream just to do anything to stay in Group A, because at the moment you were saying that Thomas is not looking good around here, so he might not compete in Group B. As you see, he's just going by the pulsator right now. But yeah, it's gonna be different if there's gonna be any team like pack racing, not pack racing, qualifying just to get themselves into Group A.
And one thing I do want to note is that you saw Alex Rogers there doing there all along the Wangan Expressway. It was him banging off that rev limiter in 4th gear. Now what he's trying to do is burn as much fuel as he can in the car to make it as light as he can for one fast lap. So he's not going to be the only one doing it on this track. He's burned roughly, it looks to be about, I want to say that's about 25% fuel in his Volkswagen Beetle, and we see him doing it here again. So that's one thing to watch out for as we have a 15-minute qualifying session, almost 5 minutes in now. Stig actually takes back pole. Actually very little fuel burning, it seemed to be in that GTR, but he's currently in provisional pole by less than a tenth. Now you are currently watching Lobby B, so how about we get a bit of an update there?
Right, so at the moment we have just passed 5 minutes, so we've got less than 10 minutes to go. Engineer has put in a stonking quick lap time, 1:56.652, which was 1.8 seconds faster than the guy in second place. However, that is now shortened as Defiant in, I think, we'll see him again. I forget what. Oh no, sorry, my apologies. Now Nugatti has just moved up into second place in the Porsche. Nugatti has been on a bit of a tear in Group A. Actually, out-qualified his experienced teammate BKMD, to say the least. He is in second. Take that back now. Mermaid's now gone into second place. Ducati third, Defiant fourth, Robocop, who we saw last week at the Nürburgring, fifth, Findogask Alex Gaming in seventh, Thunderpig in eighth, and they've got Marvelous in another Porsche in ninth, and Preedy, Jans, and I think Law has not currently set a fast lap time yet. He's just fuel burning as it is, and I think Cro Magna 2 and ARC Matty rounding out the 14. So you know, it's still very early days. Next in Matty's hitting the ball all over the place in the Citroen, but yeah, it's looking all right so far for the Beatles and the Mercedes here.
Well, back to Lobby A, we have Dans, who actually put it in provisionally third, bopping Chili for that third place. Stig's still on pole position here, but it looks like he might be on a bit of a flyer once again. He just have soft tires on his car, so let's see what he can do as he comes around the last few corners here to start his flying lap here. Actually, let's go on board with the man. Let's see if I can find the right camera angle here. There's the interior view. So let's see what he can do here with an onboard lap from our currently provisional pole sitter Stig as he crosses the start-finish line.
And we've mounted there, it's surmounted the camera inside Stig's helmet. Just to let you know that.
Ooh, makes a bit of a mistake on the exit of Canon and goes to the wall of the exit, so that's probably going to be an aborted lap from him. But let's see if he tries to stay on and tries to possibly improve through the DHL dockyard.
Driver's got to be very careful, like I said in the hot lap video. Turns 2 to 5, watch out for at least dipping 2 tyres in that gap where the red and white curbs is. I mean, Stig took that fine through turn 3, turn 4, he took that very well. Little sideways in the middle of turn 5, between 4 and 5, nearly kisses the wall on the exit.
I think he managed to get away with that slight kiss, but I think it's going to be that first sector, that first turn that's probably going to cost him this lap. Let's see if we can find the split here as he comes up to it. We'll see if he's up or down as he goes under the tunnel. He's down by just a tenth, so he can improve. There is the Fujiwara hairpin where he can gain time and Pandora's box. So this lap isn't quite over for him. And in fact, if you look at the time on the left side of the screen, Alex Rogers once again put in another banger of a lap, but is only 8 thousandths off the Stig for pole. Breaking just before the 100-meter board here into the hairpin. Very neat and tidy in the GTR. GTR known to be very understeered, but gets on the throttle a little bit too early, but can just to maintain control of it. You know, Dan's coming out of the pits in front of him. This is going to be the last section. This is going to be where the GTR struggles with its understeer. We have a downshift banging off the rev limiter as he enters Pandora's block. Get nice and close to the wall. Tries to shave off as much time as he can. Not carrying it too wide, getting over to the right side of the track for this corner. Late apex here, back on the throttle. Didn't look like the neatest section, but we're going to see if he can improve as he heads towards the line. Not quite.
Not quite. So what time was that?
That was a 55.711. He was only less than a tenth off of his fastest lap.
Okay, so so what is the current fastest time at the moment on your screen?
55.632.
Well, Cro Magna has just dumped his car on the pole position with a 1:55.488. Cro Magna will be on the pole position as things stands.
Wow. We have Tier B driver Cro Magna has been putting in a lot of laps here, and for a Tier B driver to
God is paying off.
I think that would be the first time ever in this season that we've had the Tier B and Tier A lobbies, and everyone can join whatever lobby based on their pace. That not only would a Tier A, not just a Tier B driver joining Tier A, we've seen that many times, but a Tier B driver going on pole for Tier A.
I mean, the highest that a driver in Group B started in a Tier A race was Law last week at Nürburgring. He qualified third, but Cro has just absolutely obliterated. Bubble actually had the car on pole position, but Cro Magna smashed it by just over 7/10 of a second.
The GTRs, as we mentioned, are going to be definitely strong here. So the VWs of Team 2 and their Volkswagens, they're going to have to be looking out for the Constructors' Championship here as we have the Stig in the GTR. We have Kobu currently in 4th, and he Stig's up by half a second. He's purple by nearly half a second entering Pandora's box.
Just hope he hasn't got any cars in his way here. I mean, that's gonna
Ooh, he touches the wall. He touches the wall in the mid spot of Pandora's box. Hopefully he doesn't lose too much time here.
Oh, he's coming across the line. It's going to be
close.
Good. It will be good.
It is 155.155. Well, there goes my prediction for what the pole time will be.
Yeah, everyone was saying about 154s was probably realistically a good lap time. It's getting close to it.
As I'm just going to give the notification for 4 minutes left of qualifying here.
And also look at that, Kobu, 4 fastest in the Nissan too.
It's very possible we could see 3 Nissans in the top 5 come the race.
I thought this was going to be like a Citroen versus Volkswagen, but no, Nissan's put themselves in the mix.
Let's have a look through the rest of the field and see where everyone else currently falls. Chile in 5th place, but looks like he is on a personal best lap, so we'll go back to him and see where he ends up. Willie Wug in 6th place for the Toyotas. PKMZ in 7th place from the Porsche. Beckham in 8th. Jake Dan Harry in 9th. Thomas TT in 10th. Benjeet in 11th. And then Kev Meister currently in 12th. And 13th would have been Tay the Day. However, it looked like he had a disconnect just earlier, so I'm not sure how the stewards are going to try and play that into things here, or if they're going to try and find out what his lap was and then try to slot him in that way, or if they'll just say you ended qualifying early and put him at the back of the grid. So the stewards have to figure that one out. I'm not quite sure in procedure there, but Tay the Day was in this lobby at some point and did set a lap.
Do you remember back when we did the Gran Turismo Cup and he was about to race at Brands Hatch and then he got disconnected because his PlayStation Plus ran out? Do you not remember that?
I do remember that. I'm sure he doesn't, but he did just join back in the lobby, and if he gets on track immediately, he might have time to set 1 lap, and I'm not quite sure if his other lap would have been faster or if this lap would be faster. I'm not quite sure on the procedure that stewards are going to have to follow in this situation, but we'll figure something out, I'm sure. Back at the front, Beckham actually goes pole.
Oh, wow.
Beckham in the Mercedes AMG actually takes pole position by 0.003 of a second.
Wow. Okay. Well, do you know I did see how quick the Mercedes were in practice, because I seen Bubba was the fastest in Group B and Beckham was the fastest in Group A. So we completely forgot about the Mercedes.
Normally the Mercedes hasn't been too strong this season. We had some good starts in last season in the hands of PKMZ and some good finishes. He even had a race win at Mount Panorama. But in this season, the Mercedes hasn't always been there. We've had Beckham hasn't always had the best race. He's usually been a mid-pack driver, hasn't usually qualified on pole, but here he is. I wonder if he did that with maybe a bit of a draft and a bit of help.
Quite possibly. It would have to be, like, because the Mercedes is not as quick as the Nissan or the Aston or the Citroen of that.
Yeah, and on the straight line, it's not nearly as fast, so I think he had to maybe get a little bit of assistance or really just hooked up through DHL Dockyard and Pandora's Box. I mean, 0.003 over the Stig in a GTR who's just been constantly improving in that GTR. That's a close one. And then another thing to note, with the standing starts here at Tokyo, it's not too long of a straightaway into corner 1, but we know just how good those AMGs are on the start, and if he can qualify and pull and build that gap right away, that'll definitely help him in terms of his strategy.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be so good to watch in the TNA. I can say that. Here comes Chile. He's coming across the line. What's he going to do?
That's an outlap.
That's an outlap, isn't it? So he's got 1 lap left.
But he is currently provisionally 3rd. Alex Rogers in 4th. Willie Wug in 5th. Dan 6th. Kobu GT 7th. PK 8th. Jake Dan Harry and Thomas TT will round out your top 10 as we have 30 seconds remaining left in this qualifying session. So how about you give us a bit of an update on how everyone's doing in Lobby B?
Alright, so still, Cro-Magnon is still holding on to that pole position of a 155.4. Actually, qualifying has just finished here, so the drivers are just going across the start finish line to do their last laps. Crow is still on the pole. It's now Law 226 in second. He is short of close that deficit. It's just shy of 6 tenths behind Crow Magna. Although I am looking at Law again. He's just coming across the line. Let's see if he goes faster than what he has done. He went 3 tenths quicker, but still not good enough to overrule Pro at the pole. Janier, the Finnish guy, in third. 6 tenths off pole position. Then you've got Bubble in fourth, who is on a fast lap. He's just going by Pandora's box, so hopefully keep noted where he will be. Bugatti in fifth. Jans in sixth in the other Beetle. Defiant seventh. Robocopy in eighth. Matty ninth. Thunder Pig in 10th. I want to see where Bill K Bubble didn't improve at all. So looks like Cro Magna will be starting quite high up. By my reckoning, with that 55.4.
Well, currently the Stig just beat Beckham for pole position at the line. He's the first one across the line. So qualifying is now over, and Stig on pole position for Lobby A, followed by Beckham in second place, Chili in third, Alex Rogers in fourth, Willie Wug in fifth, but he's still on a flying lap and currently has a personal best. So let's see what he can do as he heads up towards the line. I'm not quite sure who that is in front of him. Actually, that's Chili in front of him, who's also on a flying lap. So let's see what he can do. So we have Chili and Wug, who can still improve. Will it be a good lap here? There's a bit of a yellow flag from some of the drivers pulling off to the side. He's still in third place, but will Willie Wug improve? He will not. And back behind them, let's see who's the last driver to cross the line. See if I can find them here. Can't quite seem to find them. It was Beckham, and he wasn't quite able to improve. So everyone seems to have crossed the line here. So your final qualifying times here. Let's see if we can get the live timing up. ERA the Stink on pole position with a 155 flat. Beckham in second with a 55.1. Chili in third with a 55.4. Alex Rogers in fourth with a 55.6. Willie Wug in fifth with a 55.7. Dan's in sixth with a 55.8. Kobu GT in seventh with a 55.8. PKMZ ninth with a 56 flat. Jake Dan Harry in PKMZ. Was it Dan's that pulled off? Who's someone?
Dan said.
No.
No, it was Thomas. It might be Thomas because he's the lobby, isn't he?
It's quite possible. Yes, it would have been Thomas. So Thomas had a 56.3, so that would put him. Yeah, that would put Thomas in ninth. And then Jake Dan Harry would be 10th. Benjeet would be 11th. Kev Meister 12th, and then Tay in 13th. So what's the times for Lobby A, and see if we can kind of try and infer where some of the drivers are going to end up qualifying.
So I think Crow should be starting fourth. I know you said Alex Rogers in a 55.4. What's that? What's the next two digits?
Oh, and Chili had a 55.4. It was a 55.433.
Okay, so Crow Magna did a 55.488.
So that would put him fourth.
So that would put fourth. So Alex will be fifth. Law, did a 155.772.
55.772. That would put him with Crow after Crow about seventh, roughly.
So he could be ahead of his teammate Willie, is he?
No.
What's he?
Willie Wug has a 0.744.
744. I ordered a 772. So Willie will just be ahead of Law. Janier did a 156.1. That's his best time. So where would that put him?
56.1. That would put him, I believe, with Thomas going into the list. Just behind Thomas, because Thomas had the 56.3.
Yeah. And I mean, just behind PK. That's what I mean. Yeah. Bugatti 56.2.
56.2. That's a pretty good lap from Nugatti. That would put him just behind.
It'll put him behind Janier.
Yes.
And just ahead of Thomas. So Nugatti's been out qualified by PK for the first time.
Wow.
Well, I don't know how PK did in Kyoto, but that's all I know. We've seen PK racing in Group A and Nugatti too, but we didn't know what happened in Group B. So let's see. Jan's 156.622. That's in the Beetle.
56.22.
1 minute 56.622. My apologies.
622. That'd probably put him maybe at the back of Lobby A, if not towards the pole of Lobby B.
Okay. And Defiant 156.631.
56.6. Yeah. We've only had roughly 3 drivers in the 57s, and everyone else in 56s is under 56 and a half. So Benji, Kev, and Tay are all probably going to end up in Lobby B, if not Lobby C, depending on how that went.
Which we don't know who is going to be, because Ruby was supposed to do this again, but he's not here. So what about Robocopy 56749, and then we got Alex Gaming's 56779. Matty 156975. Tell you what, there's a lot of Group B drivers in the 56s, and there's some in the 57s in Group A. Wow.
Just shows you how close everyone is here in ARC. It's just, this community is constantly growing. We have new drivers joining what seems to be almost every week at least. So, I mean, Season 4 is definitely going to be interesting when 2020 comes around.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting loads of rookie races. Like the admin are getting more hardworking because new people want to join in, and then have to go through rookie races to see if they're good enough. And then when they get accepted, they could, the world's their oyster if they want to participate in any other events. It's ARC is definitely on the up and up.
That it is. So we're just waiting for the stewards to get everyone into the right lobbies. They're trying to collaborate, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce that word exactly, but trying to put everyone's times together to see where everyone can qualify. So we're going to wait for them to try and let us know about how that's going to end up. So until then, any other stories or things you want to point out about the qualifying or just the season so far, Savoy?
I was thinking about qualifying, but I've completely forgot what I was going to say. Completely forgot.
Well, one thing I do want to mention was I do want to bring up again is Chile's current 9th place in the points for Tier A. After missing just one race, he went from being 2nd place in the championship, possibly knocking on the door for overall, currently leading the way as we head towards the last round, to missing the one race at Nürburgring. And now he's currently in 9th place, over just under 150 points, I believe, behind Alex Rogers.
Yeah. Obviously, he had other commitments, and it just goes to show you can't afford to miss one race because it will cost you a championship. And for Chile, that race would have proved pivotal. I think after his win at St. Croix, I think he was about 15 points behind Alex. It was a definite shoo-in to battle Alex for the championship, but like you said, with that missed race, he's over 150 points behind. It's that's going to be hugely critical when it comes to the championship there. If Chile would have raced last week, he could have been maybe a bit closer to the championship with Alex, or still staying in 2nd place. But I mean, Willie Wogg's been doing well. He's had back-to-back podium finishes. Okay, his first podium finish at St. Croix was a little bit unexpected with Kobu and Dan's running out of fuel. Willie Wogg, he's getting some consistency going in the second half of the season.
Speaking of looping it back to qualifying, we have a GTR pole followed by an AMG, followed by a Citroen, followed by what would be the GTR Cro-Magnon, and then we have Alex Rogers in what would be 5th place in his Beetle. He has an AMG, a Citroen, and then 2 GTRs in front of him. And it's not too small of a straight down into turn 1. And
it's not wide too, isn't it? It's not a wide track.
His only saving grace is he has a Supra behind him, but then there's a Mustang behind that Supra. Alex Rogers is probably going to have a really tough time off the line of this race. He might get mugged, really. There's no kind way to put it other than that Beetle is about to get mugged off the start line.
I think for everyone hopes for the championship, they all want to hope that Alex will have a terrible start and then get absolutely murdered off the line, like we saw at Sedegna. Chile just blasted his way off the line, and I think Alex was still sitting in 2nd place, probably about 2 miles back going into turn 1. I think they've just got to rely on Alex's start, really. I mean, obviously, Alex's starts have been improved. Obviously, he's not in a Porsche, because we've obviously known that Alex in a Porsche at the start is never a good combination. But, the Beatles, he just needs to nail off the start. And I think that could be his worst qualifying of the season, I believe, is Alex Rogers. So, yeah, Alex has just got to hope that he's got to make at least a decent start, not lose any positions. Otherwise, that championship could be thrown back open again.
Yeah, and I think this is actually his worst qualifying I think he might have ever done in all of ARC. 5th place, which, I think, as we mentioned, I believe it was last race, he had the most all-time pole positions, or he's held that record for a while now.
Most wins.
Most
I think,
wins.
He does have the most pole positions, yes. He's got 9. He's got 9 pole positions.
And even when we go to tracks like St. Croix, which favor cars like the GTR, like we see here, he's still normally able to put it in the top 3. But then he comes here and he just couldn't get it hooked up, and now he's just struggling here. So whether or not that he's going to try and beat them on fuel strategy, because he has that 7th gear in the Beetle,
yeah,
I feel like that might be his only chance at trying to salvage some kind of podium finish here, unless the walls start to claim some victims.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a case. I don't think all the drivers are not going to hit the wall during this 40 minutes race. Everyone's going to. I think turns 2 to 5 is going to be obviously a key issue as well. Like I said, with the shortcut in there, I think people will pick up penalties for that. Alex just hopes and prays that he doesn't do it. As well as some of the other championship contenders too. This is going to be fun. I can't wait for this race now. This is going to be so good. Who's your money on? Actually, we haven't said who's your money on. This is probably the trickiest one to date.
Yeah, I mean, Nürburgring, you'd think that would be tricky, but Alex was just dominant there. And every other race, St. Croix was a bit of a toss-up, but Chile and his Citroen was just too powerful. There haven't been this. If there was any race that anyone could win, just because of how the track is, and one mistake can cost you a couple seconds, it'd be this race. You have, we mentioned, we have the top 5, top 6 are all drivers that, in the right conditions, could actually take home the win today. The Stig on pole, I think this is his first pole in ARC, and he has Beckham in 2nd place in the top 3 in the AMG, which he put that car
that's his best qualifying. He
put that car basically into 2nd place when it doesn't. Honestly, it really doesn't deserve to be there on this track. Anyone could really win. It could come down to the last lap strategy, who someone starts on the medium tires and tries to end on the softs, or it really is a toss-up in this race. But if I have to give it to someone, I'm gonna say Stig is going to take his first victory.
Do you know, that could be a good bet? Stig, he's been a little bit unfortunate as of late. He got took out in Nürburgring, and also the St. Croix race too, where actually he did technically start on the pole position, but he got that free place penalty. And then he fell all the way back to last, and then worked incredibly well to get that 4th place finish. So he deserves a bit of luck, this Stig, and he needs it too for this confidence.
Mm-hmm. As we mentioned, all the GTRs, how they've done with qualifying. Is that a 4 or 5-man team? I don't quite remember Good Smile Racing. I think it's probably a 5-man. I think it's probably a 5-man team that they have. But having 3 of those 5 cars, possibly 4 in Tier A, when you're only 15 points behind the team in front of you, with only 1 car on Lobby A.
Oh, fine. Yeah. Possibly 2 with Engineer.
Some solid points for them on board for today. If the GTRs don't take the lead in the Manufacturers Championship after this race, I would be shocked.
And also to note as well, with Good Smile Racing, with being the Nissans, don't forget Kobu started the race at St. Croix on mediums, and he held on to 2nd place. Now, I wonder if that will be inspiration to the other drivers in Nissan to start on the medium tyres and then go softs the rest of the way.
It'll definitely be interesting to see what some people do with strategy. As we mentioned, the pit lane is so far off where the start finish line is, and it's super short too. It's a right in and out.
Very short.
It's like less than a 20-second pit stop. So going for maybe that extra stop on the softs with the sections like the DHL Dockyard and Pandora's Box that would favor the new grippier tires, it might be worth it for some people depending on the position they're in to actually go for that fourth stop. I feel like the main strategy here is probably about 3 to 4 stops, maybe 3 if you get a good drafting partner, but it's going to be a real toss-up here to see what really comes out on top, as it looks like we just got all the lobbies sorted out. So we do have it officially sorted. On pole, as we mentioned, the Stig, Beckham in second, Chili in third, Cro-Magnon in fourth place, Alex Rogers in fifth, Willie Wug in sixth, Law 226 in seventh, but he does have that drive through to properly serve this time. Dan's in eighth, Kobu in ninth, PK in 10th, Yanir, actually one of the Beatles actually making it into Lobby A, so some more solid points for them on board. Hopefully they can get some good finishes. In 11th, Mermaid Bubble, another of the AMGs making it into Lobby A in 12th place. Nugatti, another Porsche, into Lobby A in 13th, and then Thomas TT in 14th.
So he barely scraped through, did Thomas TT, third in points.
Barely scraped through by, I think it looks to be just over a tenth of a second, with Jake and Harry being on pole in Lobby B, followed by Jans, Defiant, Robocop, ACZ, Techno, Matty. Benjeet qualifies 22nd overall, right in the middle of Lobby B. Kevmeister actually pretty far down the lobby in Lobby B.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think where T is. T's 26th, and
that's third.
Benjeet.
That's third last, for Lobby B, and then Tarbo Tenko on pole, and Lobby C closely followed by Flat Out Forever. I think that might be his best qualifying. He has second overall for his lobby.
Actually, looking at that, that's a good shout out there. Good grid qualifying for Techno Guy, the leader in Group C. He's actually qualified ahead of some of the TNA drivers, Benjeet, Kevmeister, and T.
That he has. He's been practicing this quite a bit. He's been getting a lot more involved with Gran Turismo Sport, so that's a really solid result for him. I think he drives the... I'm trying to remember what he drives. I think he drives the Ford, the Mustang.
Quite possibly. I've forgotten them all, actually, to be honest with you.
Last place overall with a 2-minute .5, rounding out the back of all the drivers is Not DP in 41st overall. So there was your grid positions for everyone is starting. We should get the race started here momentarily. Any other shocks that you can see in that list, Savoy?
Looking through them, actually. I'm just shocked to see Kev all the way down there in 24th. I wonder if Kev has not really put in a lot of practice or a lot of effort in this season. It's just been... I don't want to sound too harsh there, but do you think it's been another wasted season for Kev?
I think Kev is in a similar boat to what Lemmy is currently in that they're really trying to focus on their schoolwork, I believe it's their midterms, coming up here. So they're really trying to focus on the schoolwork. So yeah, I believe he's getting that lack of practice. But at the same time, we've seen he's been a driver that's been consistently in the top 3 back in Season 1. In Season 2, he's been a driver who's been right on the cusp of that podium, and then here in Season 3, he's been it's not the first time he hasn't qualified in Lobby A. Like, we've seen drivers like the Stig, like Nugatti, like Beckham, Chili, all these drivers actually improve over the course of a season. And to be brutally honest, it feels like Kev is the only driver to not improve. He's just kind of stagnated across all the seasons.
Yeah. Actually, another one to see there too is Jan's not being in Group TNA. Now, that's going to be big for the Group B Championship, considering that Nugatti and Bubble are in TNA, because Nugatti's the points leader and Bubble's third in points and Jan's second in points, so he's not going to get as big points as what Bubble and Nugatti's going to get.
I do have an update here from the chat. Techno is in the Beetle. Techno Guy is in the Volkswagen Beetle.
Oh, well, there you go then.
So we are just, the lobby is doing their practice starts and stuck checks. They will be practicing going into the dockyard section. I'm not going to show this on stream, it's just a practice start. It's just, we do this for those of you who might be new to the program. We do this usually just to make sure, because Gran Turismo Sport can sometimes have issues when starting a race where some drivers are stuck on the start line and can't get off. So we do this to make sure everyone can get underway and to practice turn 1 so we don't have any too big of an accidents going into the first turns here.
Yeah.
So we're just getting that underway. It should be a small break afterwards. It doesn't look like everyone's underway, so no lobby remakes.
Oh, except for Alex. Alex is not moving.
No,
This could be big for the championship here, boys!
no, Alex is moving. He just, as we predicted, he got a little mugged off the start line. That turn 1, Canon, is going to be pretty close. It's going to be pretty dicey. But going into the dockyard, I believe, is where most of the moves are going to be made. So looking at the Lobby C qualifying as they're still doing this stuck check. Flat out, as we mentioned forever, 30th overall, currently 2nd place for Lobby C. I believe that is his best qualifying. Venom Stake 31st, Ford Terminator 32nd, Eternicus in 33rd. Like, that's not bad. Marfless actually down into Lobby C with his free place grid penalty, so not a good qualifying from Marfless, our resident graphic designer here from ARC. But even Chris F.O., who, for those of you who don't know, is actually the brother, the real-life brother of ARC Dan's, our Season 1 champion, qualifies 4th last with his 3-place grid penalty. So, and he's another driver in the Citroen. Yes, he's in the Citroens, and Brian has been dropping down in the points lately, and that's not going to be good for them. But the stuck check.
I'm just being all quiet here because I'm just writing down what tyres they've all raced on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that they are starting on. Sorry, my apologies.
No apologies needed. But as we're going to be getting underway here just momentarily, everyone getting on track so we can start this race. Should be starting quite soon, and actually should be an interesting start. So I'm going to ask you now, who you want to go on board with when the race does start?
I think we should go on board with Chilling, because I think that Citroen's going to be a bit quicker than the Nissan and the Mercedes on the front row. Actually,
I'm just looking in the practice lobby here because it looks like Alex Rogers, because we can do a bit of laps before the race does start. It looks like Alex Rogers and Willie Wugg are actually lining up on the start line where their starting position is and actually practicing their starts.
Okay, I've not seen this. Hold on, what about?
They were just on the start line. Looks like he's backing up now and back into his grid spot. Alex Rogers, currently right now 5th overall, just not currently on track, but
yeah, on my screen he's still in the pit lane, so I don't know if there's a problem here on my.
It just says you have left the room.
Yeah, I know. I'm just coming back in just to see if it fixes the problem.
But it does look like he's practicing the starts here, which is good. He knows this probably isn't a good start for him, and knowing how well that Beetle gets off the line, he used to race the Porsche. This is smart from him. Should be quite interesting overall, this race, once it gets underway here. Waiting for everyone to join on the track. Looks like everyone is on track. So momentarily it should be starting here, folks.
Come on, there we go. Back in, boys, I'm back in.
Alright, it looks like we're about to start the race now. Waiting for the countdown to begin. There we go. 10 seconds to race start, ladies and gentlemen, as we're about to get underway for round 5, the ARC Season 3 of our GR3 Championship Series. Back now over to the race. There we have it. On pole position is ERA the Stig. Behind him, Beckham in 2nd place, Chili in 3rd, Pro Magner in 4th, Alex Rogers 5th, Billy Wugg 6th, Lot 2267, Dan's in 8th, Kobu GT in 9th, back behind him, PK 10th, Unier 11th, Mermaid 12th, Nugatti 13th, and Thomas TT in 14th. On board with Chili. Going to go right on board with him for the start here. Doesn't look like we have any lighting boards to give us any indication when it's going to go out, but looks like we're underway now, and Chili, ERA Stig gets a bad launch off the line. He's 2-3 wide across the start-finish line here, as Chili will take the lead seemingly into turn 1, but Beckham's not going to quite let him have it easy. Stig trying on the back of him. Looks like Alex Rogers manages to actually take back that 4th place. as it looked like Kromagner didn't quite get a good start off the line either. So Chili will lead the pack of the field through turn 1, but it looks like Beckham's not going to let him go, and Stig's trying to get into this action too. It might be about to be 3 wide going into the DHL dockyard. Not quite. No, they stay nice and clean there, but looking back to the rest of the field, Chili in the second to defend his position. Beckham looks like he's went very wide. He missed the braking zone. He's all the way back into 6th place now. Willie Wug up into 5th place, holding on to his starting position. The Stig up in 9th, looking back behind them. I'm trying to see if we can get some of the other driver positions here. Janier back into 13th now behind PKMZ and Nugatti, the 2 Porsche drivers in front of them. Mermaid up in 10th place. Looks like in front of him was probably about Kobu GT. No, it's the Stig. Stig is dropped all the way back into 9th place.
I don't know what happened there, but I was looking at more of a replay with Beckham to see what happened, how he lost over spots. He got a little tap from the back from Stig. I think that's why Beckham's all the way down to whatever position he is now. My screen, my game's completely fudged here. I've still got Alex on the start-finish line. It says here Beckham's still in 2nd on my screen, so I'm going to have to look at your screen, I think.
Stig all the way back to 9th place. Looks like Mermaid Bubble trying to look up the inside, not quite close enough to get that position, but from pole to 9th place in the span of 1 lap, that's not a strong start for Stig, and it's not the first time he's had a bad start. But Kromagner up into 2nd place to fill the gap. Alex Rogers in 3rd, but he has that train of cars behind him led by Dans. Now entering the Pandora's box section. This will be the section that favors the Volkswagen Beetle. The mid-engine live layout, the short wheelbase, it'll favor it here as he closes right up to the back of Kromagner. But then Kromagner will begin to pull away with the power of that GTR.
With the ball single file going through the start-finish line. Looks like Stig's trying to make a move on his teammate around the outside, going into cannon. I don't think that's going to work. On board now with the Stig, as he's trying to have a look on the inside of Kubo, or trying to fake a move at least. Gets a good run through the middle of cannon.
Trying to go up the inside. That'll happen on the outside for the DHL dockyard. GTR side by side, but actually look at Kobu. He's actually in the draft of law. Stig now in the draft of law, so this should give him a bit of an advantage. Will he back out for Kobu? He will.
He does back out.
Back in front of the field, move action at the front of the field. Kromagner going for the lead with Chili, side by side through the DHL dockyard. Maybe a little bit of contact there. Chili has to be careful not to pick up a penalty by going through the corners here, and Alex Rogers squeezes his way through. The ultimate opportunist, Alex Rogers, goes from 3rd to 2nd place now, but he might actually lose it back to Kromagner.
Look further behind, Dance is trying to go by Crow for 3rd.
Now we have Alex Rogers all over the back of Chili, capitalizing from Kromagner's attempt to take the lead from Chili. Looking back behind Alex Rogers now as we see Willie Wug, and it looks like Dans were side by side for a moment. Dans will hold on to 4th place. Actually, Alex Rogers look up the inside of Chili for take the lead, but he went to the outside there, not going to be able to get it done through this tight chicane on the Wangan Express.
The roll all over the back end of that. Look at Dans.
Beckham maybe going for a dive bomb on the inside? No. I was going to say it looked like Beckham was going way inside, maybe for a bit of a dive bomb, as it looks like the 8th place of Law will already make his pit stops. I think he just wanted to get... Oh, it's his drive-through. That is correct. Thank you. But actually, there is currently the top 6 are all in a big pack for the lead, and there's a bit of a gap now between Kobu GT, the Stig, and Nugatti, Mermaid, PK, and Janier, excuse me, all for that 7th place. So already we have 2 packs starting to form, but the racing's still super close.
How are you saying that 6 different manufacturers in the top 6?
I believe you are, yes. You are very much correct.
Yeah, I thought Chili would have got the better start, because we've seen how good that Citroen is. I thought Alex had a look there and then backed out of it. But this is what I see from, because I was racing or doing a bit of testing around Tokyo with Chili and with Alex, and them 2 were like inseparable. They were like thousands of each other with the fastest time. So, you know, it's no surprise.
Alex is looking, but he thinks better of it. Not quite.
I think, you know, he tries to place a bit of patience there, Alex. A good bit of thing there, not in a hurry yet, trying past Chili. But those 2 were inseparable, Chili and Alex. So I think it's just going to be what it was happened on Wednesday. It's going to be same old, I think.
Well, we'll see, as it looks like he's actually starting to build a bit of a gap. So the Beetle now almost increasing the gap to 4/10 now, the power of that session. But we'll see if the Beetle, the draft, now favoring the Beetle as he starts to slowly close the gap. Further back in the field, let's see what we can do. Beckham's doing his best to try and close on this pack. Actually, looks like Kobu GT has now joined him, so we might see a change for 6th place here as they head towards the Fujiwara hairpin. Alex Rogers going for the lead. Alex
yes.
Rogers into the lead into the Fujiwara hairpin. Will he take the move? Alex Chile try and go for the undercut on the exit. Alex Rogers will park it on the apex. He can't find the way through, but does he get on the power? No. Alex Rogers will take the lead and is now a 7-car pack battling for first place.
I think Alex had that position done very easy there. I don't think Chile made any attempt to try and defend his lead whatsoever. And that could have been a huge mistake because you can see that Alex already pulling away. He's freeing himself from this pack of cars that's right behind him.
Well, this could actually play in the hands of Chile overall, because now Chile has a drafting partner, someone who can draft. He can short sit the car and not lose any time while in the back of Alex Rogers. Because now Alex Rogers really has to rev that car out to try and hold on to that lead, and if he doesn't, he's going to lose it. So now Chile can just sit in a slipstream, short sit the car, and then try to jump him in the pit lane. They do the classic, the Lemmy move that we usually like to see when he's here racing.
Are we missing Kobe from the battle? Because we've seen Kobe at the back. He's fallen out. Oh no, he's
the Stig has actually joined him too. Actually, Chile has taken the lead. The power of the Citroen will power him right on by Alex Rogers going into the DHL dockyard.
Can we get a replay of that? Was that just the full-on horsepower that just went by the Citroen?
I think it was. It definitely looks like it. Or did Alex Rogers maybe short shift a little bit and let off? But it was just a super string pass with the straight line speed, of the Citroen. Stumbling over my words here as Willie Wogg Beckham will actually scrape the wall. As one of the drivers picks up a penalty here, Stig will pick up a penalty. He will immediately serve it as per the regulations, but he will hold on to that 8th place. But now he's got a bit of a gap behind and in front of him.
Look at Stig's tyres there. The right front is looking pretty decent. The left one is around about possibly like 80% done. Look at this mess.
Chile's looking defensive. Chile's going defensive. CRubennn's trying to look at the inside of Alex, not quite getting done. Dan's trying to get involved, but no space for him. And they will maintain position.
Look at this. This is what I love to see. Packs of cars all close to tail. That is what racing is all about.
And that's the kind of racing you get here in ARC. It's not often we usually have the one driver break far away from the rest of the field. It's always close racing, and that's one of the best reasons I love the commentating and just watch the racings here in ARC.
They went a little wide through turn 14. I thought it would have compromised them through. Turn 15. But I thought it would have compromised them through the last turn, but it looks like it didn't.
It looks like Kobu GT.
I think Kobu was looking on the inside there. Looked it like.
Yeah, he was looking on the inside of Beckham to try a late break into Cannon. No, but they don't quite touch. Maybe they do touch. Does he touch Beckham? There might have been a bit of a touch there.
Might have been a little bit of a touch. He sticks in behind there, but they would have lost a bit of time, and more effectively, Beckham would have lost the slipstream on the guys that are ahead of him.
That's not what Kobu's going to want either, because we know how we mentioned. Actually, maybe a bit of a bump trap. You got to be careful there with the bump drafting. Bump drafting is not allowed here in the ARC. Drafting is, but bump drafting is not. So if he does that one too many times, he might pick up a post-race penalty.
Now Stick has inserted himself into that battle for 6th place.
Now I believe that is through turn 6. Let me just make sure my track map is up here. Yes, turn 6. Now onto the Warangad Expressway. So we have a bit more, a few more packs starting to sort themselves out as Alex Rogers and Chile starting to break away from CRubennnn and Dan's and Willie Wogg behind them ever so slightly. And then back behind them we have the battle between Beckham, Kobu GT, and Stig.
Alex is wanting to lead back.
CRubennnn may go for it. Is CRubennnn going to try and slot himself into this battle? No, but Alex Rogers will take the lead. Chile's going to try and carry speed around the outside. Can't quite get it done. And once again, as we just mentioned, all those packs are now one big pack once again.
Yeah, again, Chile just made Alex so easy to pass him at the Fujiwara hairpin. If Chile wants to assert himself as at least realistically try and stay in the hunt for the championship, he's got to defend the lead.
You make a good point, but I still think this might be a fuel strategy thing for the both of them. Toss back the lead back and forth on the long straightaways, short shift when you're in the draft, and just try to extend that stint as much as you can, take a little bit of less fuel on the pit stop. Because even though it is a short pit stop here, being able to take just 3 seconds less fuel than the rest of the field, that's still 3 seconds on the track, especially at the exit of a hairpin.
Hello, what's Kobu doing? Was Kobu attempting to pass on, was that Willie Wogg?
looks like it actually, what happened, yeah, he's managed to make his way by Beckham. Now Beckham seems to be holding up the sticks. Now Kobu GT's caught up to the pack in front of him, is now battling with Willie Wug and Dance for 4th, as we see the stick trying to go around the outside, maybe, of Beckham. Not quite. But Kobu GT's looking to go around the outside of Willie Wug, and he does it!
Oh, wow! That's a pass that you usually don't see. What a superb pass by Kobu.
Late breaks into the dockyard, goes wide. Willie Wug tries to come up the inside, but he can't get on the throttle because Kobu's there, and Kobu just holds position. Excellent move by Kobu.
Kobu had the line going into turn 45 there.
And now he's back by Dance.
Oh, wow. So
Kobu is on a move.
I thought you were going to say mission 2.
In the span of what is essentially half a lap, you passed seemingly 3 cars. And now he's set his sights on CRubennnn. Once again, Alex Rogers will take back the lead from Chili, unless he just defended it. Chili looking at the inside, maybe a bit of contact as they're almost side by side at the exit of the hairpin. He's staying gets squirrely at the exit of the hairpin, and now it's like Mermaid Bubble has actually joined on this back, as it's now a 9-car battle for the lead.
This is great stuff here. Who's that on board with Bubble? See, there's his teammate Beckham ahead. He started 2nd place all the way down to 8th place, but you know, he got punted by Stig on the first lap going into turn 2. But it looks like, you know, it should be
Beckham struggling here. Beckham very much struggling. Now holding up his teammate after that mistake at the edge of the Pandora's box. Is Beckham perhaps on the medium tires?
Beckham's on the soft tires, and his definitely, his tires are definitely falling off the cliff. His left front is about 50% done. So I think, by my reckoning, I think...
pass here for 2nd place. Pass here, possibly 2 passes happening here for 2nd place.
Watch Kobu.
Might be 3 wide. They might be coming 3 wide towards the DHL Dockers. Alex parks his car in the middle of the track. Will we see 2 cars pass around the outside? CRubennnn gets it done around the outside of the braking. Will Kobu GT try to make that same move we saw earlier? He's not quite close enough to get it done. And farther back, we see Mermaid Bubble and Beckham side by side. Mermaid will take the 8th place from his teammate.
Yeah, I think Beckham's got a bit here, but yeah, what an extraordinary race this is. 13 minutes in. This racetrack's got to be in season 4 here.
It just might have to be, as now CRubennnn is in the position he wants. Look at the closing speed difference between the Beetle and the GTR.
It's just like Scorpio of Mortal Kombat. He's like, get over here. And he's trying to get by Alex with the lead.
And he's going to look for it here. Alex will defend. Maybe a bit of a bump. He couldn't quite get to the inside just enough. They try a late break. He's not going to be late break as much. He's going to have to defend from Chili on the outside. Will Chili make his pit stop at lap 7? He does go into the pit lane, going for the undercut. And Stig, Willie Wug, it looks like in both the Mercedes will join him.
Loads of them are coming in. Stig, Chili, Mermaid, everyone's in, pretty much.
So let's look at some of these pit stops here. Let's have a look at Chili. Actually, yeah, Chili, if you look at Chili's fuel, actually, after looking at this battle, it's Beckham and Kobu in red at the exit of the pit lane, Willie Wug in 6th, Mermaid, like, look at that battle on the exit of the pit lane there. That's super close between all those drivers. So that's still going on. I was going to say, it looked like Chili did come in, but Chili was able to jump. Look at the gap he has now. 3.3 seconds because he pitted. He had 60% fuel left. The passing back and forth that he was able to do with Alex Rogers allowed him to save fuel with the short shift, and now he's got 3.5 seconds to Willie Wug behind him, and he can just lap and lap and lap. This is what he needs.
I think Chili must have changed tyres. I don't think he put any fuel in the car whatsoever. That's why he must have that big gap behind, which is led by, I believe, Willie Wug. And look at this, Crow's to the lead.
Crow will take the lead. He's going to go defensive now in the DHL Docker. Alex Rogers probably can try to look at the outside, going for the undercut. Not quite going to get that move done. CRubennnn will now lead the race. A Tier B driver now leading.
Oh, he might have shortcut turn 4. That was an awful line that Crow took.
Doesn't look like he's picked up a penalty from it though, so he gets away with it. So these 3 drivers I expect to be pitting at the end of this lap. So this is going to determine everything. Does Chili, his undercut, the time he gained from going into the pit lane with 60% fuel left and not taking any, will he give him the advantage here?
He's just gone by turn 6. He's going underneath the Wangan Expressway, the bridge, where they've just come out of the bridge. So I would say, but I reckon that Chili could have this lead. But it's all dependent if Alex would have fuel in the car too.
As it looks like they're going side by side into the hairpin while Alex Rogers trying to take the lead.
Michael side by side in the pits here.
Will they go? They do! And look at the difference in their fuel! Alex Rogers had 43% when Chili had 60. So Chili, as he's going through the hairpin now, they're just changing tires. Chili will inherit the lead, and a quite big one at that.
But then don't forget, Chili will have to add fuel later on in this race, whereas Alex might not do it in the next pit stop. So swings and roundabouts here, Lado.
That's very true, but Chili now has a 2-second lead with a car that favors the circuit compared to Alex Rogers, who doesn't quite have a car that favors the circuit, but it's clean air. And back behind him, Kobu GT managed to make the undercut work for him, as now CRubennnn really well Beckham, Stig, Mermaid, and it looked like, I want to make sure I get the driver right, Dan's now in 9th place, and PKMZ behind him. So now it's the I want to make sure I get my numbers right here. Kobu, and it's a 7-car battle for 3rd place.
That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This is a really good race. I'm enjoying this.
Admit, my throat's already starting to hurt, and we're almost only halfway through.
Oh my.
I always told them Tokyo was a good race, and they always said they didn't want to race it, but now we're here racing, and it's a fantastic race.
Yeah, they should listen to you more often.
Ooh, his Mermaid maybe looking to make it 3 wide. He tries to go up the inside of Stig, but not quite close enough. The Stig on the inside of Beckham. I'm not sure he's for position, so Stig will take it. Beckham is a little squirrely, gives him the position, but will Mermaid try to capitalize on his teammate's mistake?
Yeah, that was good driving there from Stig and Beckham. He passed there. Yeah, them two made contact on the first lap, so they were cleaner through the DHL dockyard.
On board now, the helmet can of Mermaid as he sits behind his teammate Beckham in 7th place, with Dan's behind him in 8th. He's in the middle of this battle pack, battling for that 3rd place, currently held by Kobu GT, now on the Wangan Expressway.
You could just throw a blanket over the top 3. I mean, over the top 3. I mean, the 3 cars that are battling for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and it's 6th, 7th, 8th, and this bubble looks like he's going to the inside.
Just a bit of a
watch out for Dance. Dance is going to get a good run off the exit of the Fujiwara hairpin. No, he's not.
What I want to point out is actually the battle just in front of him here between Stig and Willie Watt for that 5th place. They're side by side. Stig will hold. I'm pretty sure he'll hold on to the position. He didn't gain one. So actually, if you look at the standings, it's Chili and the Citroen, Alex in 2nd with the VW, and then it's Nissan, and Nissan rounding up from 3rd to 5th.
There you go. Great points, Dave, for good spell racing as they're going through. Is that the bullet train they're going by? That looks like it is, I think.
I don't think that's the bullet train. I think that's just the regular old monorail that they have in Tokyo. The bullet train is a lot faster than that.
All the fans on the train watching this spectacular race as this is happening.
That's always one of the best. Those are always some of the best kind of race tracks. Street circuits like this, when you could just be driving to work or to the shops one day and look over and there's race cars on the street next to you. It's always that special feeling racing through a city.
It's just like the Monaco Grand Prix, always a special occasion. Here comes Bubble, looks like he's having a look on the Beckham. No.
Not quite close enough. So it looks like this battle slowly started to ease itself out here. The gaps between drivers kind of equalizing, all the drivers trying to extend this middle stint so he can push in the last one. Maybe going for that 3-stop strategy, as Chili has actually opened up his lead by another half a second over Alex Rogers.
I was just going to say, is Kobu catching up to Alex's Beetle? Because to me it looks like it is.
As of right now, it is. That's a Beetle on itself outside of the drafting zone from Chili ahead of him. And we know how fast that GTR is in the straightaway. And just half the straightaway alone, he's gained half a second.
Oh, okay then. So I wonder if team orders are going to be in play here. Are the Nissan's going to stick together here, go single file, or who do they want to lead this battle? And they are catching Alex very quickly. Dan's having a...
Ooh, Mermaid Bubble actually sneaks up the inside of Beckham at the exit of the hairpin, but can he hold on to it? Not quite.
Beckham had to run off the exit.
Let's have a look at some of the other drivers just towards the back of the field. Currently, PKMZ in 10th place, holding to hold off Thomas TT in 11th place. Now, Thomas already did his stint on the mediums, so he can push till the end. Nugatti we have in 12th place, Yanir in 13th, and then Law in a lonely 14th place after serving his drive-through penalty.
And he also started on medium tyres too.
That gap is definitely closing down. It wouldn't have favored the Pandora's Box, wouldn't have favored the GTR. But now this section through Cannon, down in the DHL Dockyard and the Wangan Expressway.
Oh, sticking CRubennnn side by side with Cannon.
Ooh, that's a sticky one. That's not necessarily a corner you want to be side by side with your teammate through. As it looks like Stig's trying to go up the inside of CRubennnn. Yes, he is. Will CRubennnn give him the opportunity to go through? Because they need to be in the draft of Kobu GT if Kobu actually takes that podium position. They need to stay side by side. They can't lose time as Willy Wug tries to capitalize on it now.
Yeah, that was a mistake there on whoever was trying to overtake the Nissan there. I bet you the manager of Good Sport Racing will be absolutely human about that.
Well, they managed to hold on to his Willy Wug would go wide in the middle section back into 6th place now. So it looks like the Stig, now in the 4th place, has actually started to break away from CRubennnn. So that might have been a good move from the Stig to try and tank back, gain that position so we can try to push it up to Kobu GT, who's now within that draft of Alex Rogers, within that second zone, and we know how powerful that GTR is.
Oh, he's there pretty much. They'll go back to Crow and Crow and the Stiggy there. I don't think that was good racing between the two. I think they should have just stayed reluctantly.
As he's looking to go around the outside of the Fujiwara hairpin in the GTR, that's not going to be an easy move to move because he's trying to go for the undercut. Alex will put it on the
side too, behind. I think the Stig's will take it in 4th place over Crow.
No, Stig had the 4th place. That was the battle for position going to the
okay.
So Stig will hold on to 4th, but Willy Wug's trying to really get involved in that battle.
Yeah, I was just about to say that before you cut off with the battle for 2nd place. That's not good racing between Crow and Stig. They've got to work together. They can't afford to go side by side. Well, they've probably lost the draft over Kobu, who's battling with Alex now. Because of whoever went side by side going through Cannon, it's allowed Willy Wug, Mermaid, Beckham, PK, Dance to all catch up now.
Kobu GT is still hounding the back of Alex Rogers. Now 18 minutes left in this race, and I wish that we had another hour to go.
Yeah, me too. This has been well good. Cap's not really put. I thought Chile would have pulled away from Alex, but it looks like he's not.
Speaking of the GTRs here, they're side by side going to the DHL Dockyard. Kobu has the advantage, and he just passes right in front of Alex Rogers. So Kobu now once again into a podium position. Hopefully, we don't see a repeat of what happened at St. Croix.
Do you think Alex is racing smart here because he knows he's got a good buffer in the championship lead? That Willy Wug is down in 6th place. Do you think he's not really wanting to fight the guys ahead of him?
That's quite possible, but I do know the egos allow these guys. They don't want to actually pick up. Stig has to pick up a penalty. That's quite a hefty penalty too, as he's going to lose possibly 3 positions because of it. He will drop to 7th place once again with a penalty for the Stig. But back to the top of Alex Rogers. He can't take it easy. As we mentioned, he had roughly an 86, I believe it was, point lead over Willy Wug in 2nd place, and Willy Wug now in 5th place because of the penalty from Stig. So he doesn't have to push necessarily as hard, but as I was mentioning, the ego of these guys, or just the driving, they all want to win. They don't want to come 2nd. They don't want to come 3rd. They actually want to push themselves and actually take the top step of the podium. And for guys like Alex Rogers, who's stood on the top step of the podium so many times, they don't want to give that spot to someone else. So I feel this performance that we're seeing right now is more along the lines of him just trying to beat people in pit strategy than on track pace, because he knows that Beetle can't compete in that area.
Yeah. I have to say that this is a great showing here for Kobu winning that race and running up there in 2nd place. It's a much needed race that Kobu needs, and something to build his confidence. The disappointment of finishing 12th when he had a 3rd place sewn up in St. Croix before the fuel ran out. And he's had, he's been very unlucky with other situations too. But this is a much needed race for Kobu.
That it is. Hopefully, we don't see a mistake that we've seen from him so many times before. As he stated in the past, he does favor these Japanese tracks. Into the DHL Dockyard, still holding on to that 2nd place over Alex Rogers. We expect 1 or 2 more pit stops, depending on strategies, to come up here.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he is very good around Japanese tracks. My bad, yeah. Good thinking now.
So actually, it looks like Mermaid has actually taken that 5th place from Willy Wug to the DHL Dockyard. So actually, this is a really good result from Mermaid Bubble so far. Driver we haven't seen in CRH as of yet is now currently up into the top 5.
That's obviously not good there for Willy Wug because he's 2nd in points and he lost the spot because Mermaid passed him. But yeah, this is all going well. Good showings from Bubble because we haven't seen Bubble in a couple of races.
And especially when he compares his teammate Beckham, who qualified 2nd, is now back in 9th place.
Oh, Sticks go for a double pass.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just missed that. Didn't quite get it done. Oh, it was losing the rear end of the exit though.
Oh, there she goes, and well held. Do you want to replay on that then, Mr. Laddle? That was a well save.
It seems like Willie Wug or Mermaid were battling side by side, going to the hairpin. The closing speed of the GTR late breaks up the inside. Way to the inside. Mermaid sees at the last second. They're all side by side. I don't think he gains the position from it unless he does, you know, he gets squirrely. He would have had Willie Wug, but he gets squirrely at the rear end. So good attempt from Stig, though.
Yeah, he's picked up 2 penalties on here. He doesn't want to lose any more. Again, Stig, another guy who wants to finish very well. Look at that. Is there side drafted in GT Sport? I don't think there is.
Ooh, as he touches the wall with maybe a bit of a squeeze from Willie Wug. And now Dan's might look to capitalize on this. Actually, when you think about the pace of the Ford Mustang and the current track we're on, and Dan's being in 8th place, I mean, he's right there in the race, but that 8th place is a bit unconventional for him to be in, as it looks like the Stag will try to go up the inside of Willie Wug and he'll get it done, but Dan's is now looking to go with him.
Stick needs a pit. His tyres have fallen off the cliff, and he's also flashing red too. I also noticed when you went to a replay, PK and Bugatti made a pit stop during when you had that replay. So pit stops are going to be happening very, very soon here.
A bit of a development back at the front of the field. Alex Rogers has made a pass back onto Kobu GT for 2nd place, and now Cro-Magnon in 4th place is actually caught up to the back of that group.
Oh, and I didn't get to see that. Oh, silly me. I didn't see it on my screen. Again, my screen's completely knackered because on my screen it's still showing Alex Rogers at the start.
Kobu going into the pit lane. Oh, but he makes a mistake in the hairpin. He goes into the wall going into the hairpin. He tries to late brake too late. Looks on the outside of Alex Rogers. I don't know if it's just his front tires are done for. He just has no brakes here. Just understeer. His front tires are done and he goes into the pit lane here. So this is going to be his pit stop. Actually, he enters in 10th place. What happened? Oh, no. Okay, that was a bit of a replay bug there. Excuse me. He comes out in 5th place. But he's 2.3 behind Chili, who was in 4th. But now Alex Rogers leads because he didn't make a pit stop. Yes.
No, he didn't. He stayed out for 1 more lap because Steve pitted. Chili pitted in.
Well, look at this. Cro-Magnon
cinched side
by side through Cannon.
That's going to be good for Chile because if they're going to battle, they're going to hold each other up. It's going to allow Chile to retake that lead.
That it is, but Cro-Magnon is going to easily pass Alex Rogers here for the lead. But will he try to late break on the inside? No, he won't. He's going to hop back into the draft.
My God, there's battles everywhere. I'm just seeing on board here with Sticky. He's just passed Willie Wug. Bobble's just past Dan's going into Cannon. There's battles everywhere you look.
This is why we love the current layout we have now. It just allows for the pace of some drivers to just... We have Tier B drivers that have the pace moving up to Lobby A. It just allows for that much more close racing. We have 11 minutes left here in this race. Cro-Magnon are currently leading, but we expect them to come to the pit lane after the stop. And currently the gap between Chile and the leader Cro-Magnon is 17.3 seconds, and I do believe they all have to take fuel this time. So
Chile had to take fuel.
I do believe this time by, Chile might inherit the lead.
But it's just all down if Alex took fuel in his first pit stop, does he need to take fuel for the second stop?
I think, to correct what I said earlier on in the race, when I saw Chile having 60% fuel left, I believe that was more of an issue of, I saw his fuel on the exit when he was coming out of the pit lane, so that was his updated fuel. And the same with Alex Rogers, that was his updated fuel after he had refueled back when he had come out. So they did take a bit of fuel, but yes, Alex Rogers did stay out. Now looking at his time...
Is he on the mediums?
No, he's on the softs.
He's still on the softs, okay. Sticks just past Dan's going into Fujiwara hairpin.
So Kobu GT in 5th, Cro-Magnon in 3rd, Chile now in 2nd after Cro-Magnon's pit stop, but only a second separate them, so they are in the draft, so Cro-Magnon's right there. Undercut hasn't given Chile that much of an advantage, but 16 seconds, and that does seem to be dropping quite fast, will put Alex Rogers possibly back in what would seem to be around 5th place.
Around about that, possibly. Just looking at Chile's fuel gauge, there's about 50% left of fuel in that car, and he's on the medium tyres now. Chile's on mediums.
and that gap is still coming down. So a fresh set of mediums still seems to be a bit faster than a used set of softs compared to the timing gap, or at least it's maintained. So this will be interesting to see where the pit stop will put Alex Rogers, as he's just now entering the dockyard and Chili's just going up the incline into the braking zone for the dockyard.
I'm just amazed that they've all gone through 2 pit stops. Were you expecting 3 to 4 pit stops? But no, they've surprised us by going maybe 2 pit stops. 2 or 3. How many? I can't remember. Shut up, Sean.
2 stops so far.
2 stops, aye. Yeah, 2 stops. And I think they can go the rest of the way now because there's less than 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I know Mermaid can easily go, because Mermaid is the first driver, the highest placed driver right now on the soft tire. He's currently in 6th place, and there's less than 10 minutes to go, and I know he can easily last 10 minutes. That's roughly 5 laps here, 5-6 laps. That's soft tire life, no problem. So
yeah, that's a tire expectancy about 5 to 7 laps. Look at Beckham though. Okay, but we're looking at Rogers in the pit lane. This is pretty cool here. I'm looking at Chile. He's just coming in towards the Fujiwara hairpin. He's on the brakes.
Quite a bit of fuel going in that Beetle.
Oh, he comes out. Oh, this is going to be very close, you know. It's going to be very close.
Chile will have the run. He's going to have the speed. They're going to be side by side
Oh,
going up the hill.
side.
Chile will take back the lead, but he has 2 more laps of used medium tires on that Citroen.
So then. This is going to be good now. Well, Chile has to defend now for the lead. We've seen him let by Alex go by for the lead a few times going into Fujiwara hairpin. Now is the time to defend your position now, Chile.
Back behind them, once again, the Nissans are 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but Mermaid Bubble is back right behind the Stig, currently for 6th place, and he is currently, I believe, the best placed driver on the soft tire. So Mermaid Bubble will have the superior tire, but not the superior straight line speed. Back at the front of the field, half a second separates Chile and Alex Rogers. Alex Rogers on the 2 laps. Newer tires compared to Chile's, and Cro-Magnon are back behind them in 3rd place, just outside the drafting zone. However, that GTR is very powerful, and I expect him to maybe catch up if he can get these sectors just right.
Just looking further back through here. Oh, went a little wide through the DHL dockyard. Still keeps it going though, but it's a nice battle going on there between Beckham, Rog, Dans, and PK in the first washes. Look at my screen. This is going to be so good to watch here. Coming now with about 7 minutes to go. Alex is pretty much dead on Chile. It's just how can Chile cope with those 2 lap tyres that's more worn than what Alex is. That's going to be interesting to call that. Will Chile hold on to that win?
I think the spoiler in this battle for the lead currently is Cro-Magnon. He's just inside that drafting zone, so if he can get the speed on these straights, we know how powerful that GTR is. If he can just get it hooked up, stay in a smart line, and just wait for them to battle back and forth and capitalize on them battling, Cro-Magnon could be a spoiler and actually take home his first win for ARC.
And it would be also the first guy in Group B would win this race.
That is very true. Back behind him, Kobu GT in a solid 4th place, Stig in 5th, Mermaid in 6th. Well, Mermaid on his soft tires hasn't been able to capitalize on that.
That's very surprising. I thought he would have breezed by both Kobu and the Stig. He's on the quicker tires. I've just seen Dan's made a little mistake. He brushed the roll through the last down. It's a fantastic battle going on for 7th place. You're looking at it right now. PK's looking very hungry. Don't forget, these 2 had a bit of a moment on the last lap at the Nürburgring. Will it happen again?
Good question here, as we're going to have these cars going now through K&N. PK had to just check up on a bit of the front, not to run into the back of Dan's once again. That's going to be close racing. Back at the front of the field, actually back to Cro-Magnon. The gap now has dropped to 1 second. So Cro-Magnon is doing an excellent job, but he's a bit wide through here. The undershare of the GTR not helping him through this sector. He's going to have to try and nail this sector to try and make sure he can stay in that draft. He's lost a bit of time on the exit.
Yeah, he looked like he different line through turns 4 and 5, and it compromised him through that turn 5. Lost him a bit of time, but he'll gain it back going onto the Vanguard Expressway.
It looked like there may have been a bit of a penalty. Yes, Cobra GT actually has a bit of a penalty, so Mermaid Bubble elevated himself to 4th place because of that. So Mermaid Bubble is actually...
Oh, he passed Stick!
He has passed Stick. So Mermaid Bubble is now up into 4th place. Let's see if we can try and find a replay of that through the DHL Dockyard. Stig just looks like he got squirrely at the exit of the DHL Dockyard. And Cobra GT had the penalty, so great fortune for Mermaid Bubble to get into 4th place. 5 seconds to the leaders now. Cro-Magnon, next driver in front of him, but Cro-Magnon's now within half a second of Alex Rogers and Chili.
And there's less than 5 minutes to go. Oh, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be like the Cup at Brands Hatch all over again. Oh, Whitwell gets to the back of Beckham.
Actually, Stig will make another pit stop.
Stig's making another pit stop. That's interesting.
He's on the medium tires. He didn't do a stint on the mediums yet.
Oh, gosh, Stiggy.
From pole position to 11th place after forgetting to do a stint on the medium tire. You'll now be able to at least do 1 lap on it and fulfill the tire change requirements.
I wouldn't blame him though, because he's been caught up in all this insane battling that's going on. I really don't blame him, but that's a rookie mistake to make.
It is, especially for a man that ended up qualifying on pole position. He has the pace, but then just the strategy isn't quite there.
He just can't catch a break. He just cannot catch a break, the Stig.
But now we have a 3-car battle for the lead. We have roughly 2 laps to go.
Oh, Crow, careful. God, I worry for Crow when he's going on those curbs now, because it's so easy to pick up a penalty around turns 2 to 5.
But now
he's closer than ever.
He's closer than ever. He is in that half a second gap now onto the Wangan Expressway, the straightaway that will favor the GTR. And now he's got Alex Rogers and Chili in front of him. So Chili will be pulling Alex Rogers alongside. Alex Rogers will know he's got the GTR behind him, so he's going to want that car of Chili to be a buffer. This will be when Alex Rogers pulls out. Alex has pulled out, but this isn't what Alex needs to do, because now that allows Cro-Magnon catching right up.
With a hell of a run.
Alex Rogers will have to go for a pass to try to defend his position. Cro-Magnon's going to try quite to lift the inside. He's going to try, but Alex Rogers is going to try and take a move, and he's going to try and capitalize on both of them. He's going to try and pull an Alex Rogers on Alex Rogers.
Dear me, and again, Chili did not defend his battle for the lead. I just don't understand. There's about 2 minutes to go. Why just let someone go by? You've got a great shot of winning this race. Why did you don't defend?
At this point, I don't know. Earlier, I could try to explain it away as being trying to conserve tires and working on his fuel, but at this point, with just under 2 minutes, so actually we're going to get another lap. There is now 2 laps remaining as they're going to cross the line before.
I think there's going to be at least two more laps of this.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 more laps. So at this point, I mean, you could argue that Chili wants to be in that 2nd place, as that's the position that's going to favor him after the Wangan Expressway, passing to the hairpin and trying to hold the position through Pandora's box. You could try and argue that statement, as he's actually now trying to make the pass now on the straightaway between Cannon and the DHL Dockyard. So this
will get a double draft here.
If he's closing fast, and Alex Rogers is going to look at the inside. Alex Rogers will go deep to try and defend. He's going to be side by side. The nose is alongside. Chili's going to be loving this, but he can't get the car on throttle.
God! Alex Rogers half-heartedly shutting the door on Crow. Bye, oh, bye. Can he not race for 50 more minutes, please?
Mermaid still in 4th, Cobra GT in 5th, Dan's in 7th, ahead of Willy Wug, PKMZ, and Thomas TT. That's a battle for 7th place that's developing here. So we have 2 close battles on track. We have Cro-Magnon, Alex Rogers, and Chili.
Sticky's actually catching that battle with Thomas and all that now. On those medium tires. So, Sticky must be fuming he made that rookie mistake, and he is catching that battle going on for, is that for 7th place, is it? Yes.
So this is it. Alex Rogers once again goes to the inside.
Again! It doesn't defend!
Cro-Magnon's going to stick to the outside with Chili. He's going to try and get the better run on Alex Rogers on the inside. Actually, Chili gets the undercut.
Oh, wow!
He gets on the throttle earlier, so they're going to be side by side. They're going to be side by side going up to Pandora's Pandora's box, but Alex Rogers will take the position. Once again, the next lap will be the last lap.
Right, so what we know is that Alex get a run, passing it through the hairpin, and he can hold it through Pandora's box. Chili can pass him in between Cannon and the DHL Dockyard. In fact, he's lost a bit of time here. I wonder if the tyres are starting to fall off for Chili.
Yeah, They're going to be starting here, but they have one more lap to go. How's the fuel on all these drivers? They're all good to go. They can all push to the end. I'm not sure about how Mermaid and Kobu's looking on fuel. They're both fine. The rest of the battle for 7th place is going to be a little close, but that should be a developing battle. Actually, PKMZ's looking to try and pass Willy Wug for 7th place, as that was the pass that happened, which seems to be now in a developing 3-car battle. But it looks like we might be going 3 wide here as we head down towards the DHL Docker. Romeyer maybe giving Chili a little bit of a push to try and work his way by Alex Rogers, but he has to be careful to bum trapped in too much. He's not quite sure what to do here, as it is now the final lap officially. Cromager trying to go on the outside of Alex Rogers for 2nd place.
Can he do that? That would be awesome if he could do that.
It doesn't look like he can get it done. He can't.
Now then,
Alex Rogers gets loose! He gets loose! So Cromager will go up the inside for 2nd place, and now he has to set his sights on Chili. He's only half a second ahead. An uncharacteristic mistake from Alex Rogers, getting on the throttle too early, and it will cost him a position, as now Cromager could be on for a race win here.
Sticks on the inside of Thomas TT. I'm still looking at that battle going on for 7th place, but my oh my, he's actually past Thomas, but go a Crow here. Alex has definitely lost out a bit here, but he's in a slipstream.
He is in the slipstream. Will Chili finally defend it into this corner, really trying to go for the cutback? Chili, last lap, he knows it. He's looking to go defensive. He's in the draft. Who will be on the brakes a little bit later? Cromager's going to go deep into the corner. He's going to go deep into the corner. Alex Rogers going to look to get the run. Cromager on the inside. Does he open the door for Alex Rogers? Alex Rogers goes through. There's a touch. There's a touch between them. So Alex Rogers will take the proper line and go through, but he's got the power here. Can he try and late break and go around the outside through Pandora's box? I don't think it's possible. But the stewards are probably going to have to take a little bit of a look at it. I'm not quite sure if I was able to clip the replay. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't quite able to clip it in time, but Alex Rogers makes a bit of a mistake, touches the wall here. He actually might lose on the run to the line. He might lose. It might be a drag race to the line. He goes to the outside. He can't get it. He can't get it. It's so close.
My oh my. What an amazing race.
And the battle for 7th place develops. PK will actually hold on to that 7th place ahead of Danz, ahead of Willie, ahead of Thomas.
Sticks still down. Sticks out of fuel. Sticks just ran out of fuel across the line.
And he still has yet to. He's going to be the last one to cross the line. Excuse the replay there. But there you go. Alex Rogers, less than a tenth over Cro-Magnon, ahead of Chili. But there was a bit of contact there at the exit. The stewards are going to have to take a look at that one.
A bit of controversy at the end there. To me, it looked like Crow outbraked himself, and I think Chili did the same too. And then Alex was like, okay, I'll go for the inside, but I'm going to shut you off on the exit. Yeah, if we got to happen, but that was an incredible race. Race of the season for me.
Well, there's your results, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Rogers getting the win with roughly the last corner of the Fujiwara hairpin. Cro-Magnon in 2nd by less than a tenth after the drag race to the line. Chili in 3rd, Mermaid 4th, Kobu 5th, Beckham actually in 6th. Did Beckham manage to pass PK at some point? Did PK have a penalty?
I didn't know.
Excuse me. That was the battle for 7th place. That's correct.
Okay, then.
So the Dan's in 8th, Willy Wug in 9th, Thomas in 10th, Stig in 11th, Nugatti, Yanir, and then Law rounding out the back with Stig with the fastest lap. Oh boy.
Oh, we made babies, lad. Oh. That was absolutely incredible. What's the chat saying? We didn't mention the chat. What have they all been saying about this?
They've been mostly quiet over the rest of the race, but they started to get a little rowdy towards the last few laps there. Just everyone seemingly saying, what a finish, but wow.
Unbelievable seeds there. Absolutely sensational. Do you think that was better than the Brands Hatch race?
That's a tough one to call, but that's definitely up there with the top 5 races we've ever run. My heart's beating and my throat is sore, and I love every second of it. I told them we need to race Tokyo. I told them they needed to race Tokyo, but no. Then they put in season 3 and it has one of the best races of the year. There you go. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be back momentarily with what should be some interesting, I'd like to think, driver interviews. We'll see how many we get this time around. But so don't go anywhere, because we will be right back. Okay, I'm still trying to catch my breath, ladies and gentlemen, after the finish to that race. But we are here with a few drivers for some driver interviews, and more might show up a bit later. So let's just jump over to our, I'm going to say, just for now, unofficial race winner. Let's interview Alex Rogers first. Alex, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
So,
Hello.
Alex Rogers, a very close race throughout all of the entire race.
Yeah, the Beetle had no right being where it was at all. So yeah, I was really surprised to be anywhere in contention come the final stint. Yeah, it's pretty close. Close finish though, eh? That's the main thing.
It was a very close finish with you and Chili and CRubennnn getting there at the end of the race. I do want to have to point out the fact there was a bit of contact there at the exit of the hairpin. I'm not sure whether it was something the stewards need to look at or not. I'm sure they will, regardless. But what do you
they're
think?
free to look at it. I'm more than happy for them to look at it. To be honest with you, they went so wide that the cutback was on for me, and I was ahead at that point. So, you know, I didn't drive into the side of Crow. I sort of took the line out. I know he was obviously there. I wasn't expecting him to sweep back quite as hard as he did. So, I don't know. I mean, if anything, I don't know. He should have really been aware that somebody was cutting back, to be honest with you, because I had a massive cutback on both of them. So, yeah, it's up to the stewards ultimately. But, you know, there's a few things going on there. Like, I saw a bit of bump drafting going on. So, you know.
All right, but
We'll see.
Back to the start of the race, you actually had a very good launch off the line. We saw you before the race practicing your starts a little bit, and we expected you to maybe not start as well as you did. You had those cars in front of you with your only saving grace being the Supra of Willy Wonka behind you, but you actually had a pretty solid start and took 4th place going into turn 1.
Yeah, I've nailed the start. Like the past 2 races, I've really got it down thanks to Ruby. Ruby taught me how to get the Beetle off the line properly, and I've really perfected it. The Nissan ain't great off the line anyway, so that might look a little bit, might be a bit deceiving that, and the Supra's obviously horrendous, so it looks like I'm pulling away. But yeah, I've managed to at least like sort of keep up with the majority of the field, so it's pretty good, yeah. But the moment you like, what I was worried about was getting sort of dragged down into the mid pack, because once you're down there, like all hell breaks loose. So I was really glad that I managed to get away and kind of get on with it. There was something at turn 1. I don't know quite what happened, but a couple of cars like went wide, or I think there was a bit of an issue between maybe Becky and Stig, was it? But yeah, luckily got through that, tagged onto the back of Crow, and yeah, away we went.
Well, going into this race, you had roughly an 86-point lead, and now with an unofficial win, I still have to state that just because of how it is. Extending your points lead, especially over your second place over Willy Wug, who was in second place, not quite getting the best finish there today. I believe he finished roughly 8th or 9th. So some good solid points, not only for you, but some more for Team 2.
Yeah, it's great. I haven't spoken to the other guys. I don't know where they finished yet. I'll have to check up with them, but it was solid for us again. I don't think we'll be in the lead coming out of this round because obviously, you know, there's 3 Nissans in Tier A predominantly just because they're so freaking quick in a straight line. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we're doing really well as a team, to be honest with you. So given, like, yeah, like tracks like this, the Beetle should be nowhere, but yet we had 2 drivers in A and 2 drivers in B. So, you know, it's not all bad. We're doing pretty well.
All right. Well, congratulations on your race win and excellent race today. I know Savlo and I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it boring for you guys with me crossing the line first again, but I hope at least you had a bit of entertainment this time.
Oh, trust me, we had a lot of
entertainment. Not listening to you playing the guitar. You were staying earlier this afternoon.
I haven't had time, Sal. I had to practice the track. I haven't had time to practice James Blunt. But if I win the championship next week, I'll have it ready for you. I'll have that song ready, prepped for you, and then we'll have a little sing-song.
I'll have cotton wools in my ears, so I won't listen to it.
Thomas can attest. I can do Live in La Vida Loca if you want that one. Thomas,
that's better
so we can have a bit of
Blunt.
that if you want. Okay. You get that. You get down to that with your lemonade.
All right. Thank you, Alex.
See you later, guys.
All right. Let's move on to our 3rd place finisher and leader for most of the race, Chili. Hello, Chili. You had a really solid race. You went for the undercut at the beginning. You took the lead off the start of the race, a solid race from you, but it seemed like maybe been a few mistakes, especially going mostly into the Fujiwara hairpin, not defending what was your lead a lot of the time. Can you maybe explain to us what was going through your head and why you decided not to defend into that corner?
Well, most of the time it was better for me to get the slipstream off the people coming along the start straight and into their harbour section. So there was no point really defending because they would have just got it straight away, like back going down there. So I just thought, instead of wasting time battling, let them overtake me. If they make a mistake, they make a mistake. I'll just take my line and do it. And it worked out for a majority of the time, apart from the last lap, which I'm still not happy about. I'm not going to say it too much, but it was definitely it pushed me wide a little bit. I feel if I didn't, I could have easily turned in on Crow there and caused a collision, but I didn't. So I'm not particularly happy with it, but we'll see what happens afterwards.
Well, speaking of that last lap incident, you being in third place out of the corner, you did get a pretty good view of what happened between Alex and Cro-Magnon at the exit of that corner. Could you give us your side of things, what you saw through that corner?
Honestly, at that point, there's nothing Alex really needs to worry about, in my opinion. There's he was on the inside. It was his line to take. He was ahead at that point. Really, Crow should have probably backed out and seen him coming. But you know, it's a racing incident at the end of the day. I don't think either of them's really to blame for the contact. It just happens.
Well, after missing the last round at Nürburgring, you were currently sitting at 9th place in the points, roughly just under 150 points behind Alex Rogers. And now he scores another win here today. You get your 3rd place, trying to keep that podium scoring position going other than that round at Nürburgring. But you have your work cut out for you ahead of you if you want to try and battle at least for the podium position in the points.
Yeah, it sucks that I had to miss the Nürburgring. Just life and stuff getting in the way. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to challenge for the win, the title after the first 2 or 3 races, but it just never happened. But I think even if I get a 2nd place or a 3rd place at Spa, I'll still have my best finish in the championship so far. So it's progress. Unfortunately, this season's been written off due to other reasons, but next season, hopefully, I can challenge more consistently and then try and win it.
Well, still speaking of points, the Team Go Brian, your Citroens, they have dropped down to 6th place in the points, and with you being the only driver in Tier A, you did get a good point scoring position, but the rest of your teammates, in my personal opinion, need to pick up the slack a little bit if you want to try and work your way back up to where you were in the Constructors Championship.
See, the thing is that I understand that opinion, but they are working hard to get up to pace and up to speed. I mean, there's been a few things happen this week again with Tay and with Matty, which just prevented them from practicing too much. And obviously Tay disconnected midway through the quali session, so that didn't help him at all. There's nothing really. It's all out of their control again. I can fly the flag as much as I can. Yes, obviously, it'd be better if they were up there with me, but the Citroen is not a super easy car to drive, so it wouldn't be. It'd be wrong for me to be mad at them or be angry at them for not scoring as many points as me, because they just haven't had the time or practice to learn it.
All right, well, the next round is Spa. Hopefully we wish you luck there. Congratulations today on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to our next driver. Let's move on to the driver which had a performance that maybe we didn't quite expect to see from him today. Move on to Mermaid Bumble. Mermaid Bumble, are you here?
Hello there.
Hello there, Mermaid Bubble.
Hi.
You had a quite eventful race so far today. You actually came home with, I believe it was a 4th place finish. which I believe is your best finish of all ARC GR3 Championship Series to date, beating not only your teammate Beckham, but a lot of the GTRs, and what was a car maybe we didn't quite expect seeing up that high.
Yeah, I actually finished fourth. Didn't expect to end that high. Personally, I thought maybe top 5 would have been nice, actually, but start went quite okay for me, and the pit strategy worked out. I managed to catch the slipstream after my first pit, going to mediums. So basically, for me, it was just like driving the softs because I could just stick in the slipstream and not lose any time. So I knew if I would have taken my softs after the last pit, then I could have gained a little bit of time on the leaders. And overall, it worked out really well, and I'm very happy with my result.
Well, earlier at the middle stint of the race, we saw some close calls between you and your teammate battling back and forth, and especially in that pack, what was, I believe, at the time for a battle for, it was not only 5th, but 3rd at one point with all the cars that were bunched up. At any point in that, give us a bit of an insight to what you and your teammate were doing. Was there any talking between you and two? Do you do a party chat between you two, trying to talk strategy and who should be ahead, who's a bit faster, or do you do anything like that when trying to communicate?
We were actually not in a team chat together, but I thought I would just let him live and see how his driving went. I just decided to stick in the slipstream for as long as possible to conserve my fuel and my tires a little bit, and eventually I went for the overtake because he made a little mistake. I touched him slightly. I don't think it was fully my mistake. That's why I didn't concede my position, but that's obviously up to the stewards to decide afterwards. And then, yeah, things went on from there.
Well, after the round you had at Nürburgring where you qualified into Lobby C, you've had this round now where you qualified into Lobby A and scored within the top 5 points, which when you were battling for the top 3 in Tier B, that's some solid points for you to bring home against your competitors.
Yeah, Nürburgring was quite a big disappointment for me. That's what happens if you get 0 laps of practice, where the quali is basically my practice, and I was very much sleep deprived, working 2 weeks straight from home. So, I mean, being 2 weeks straight away from home. So let's not talk about Nürburgring anymore, because I'm still feeling that one. But yeah, I'm very happy with this race.
All right, well, congratulations on your finish, and hopefully we get to see you once again into Lobby A in the next race at Spa.
I certainly hope so. Thank you very much.
All right, let's move on to the man that's been in here first, waiting for these interviews. Let's go over to Kobu GT.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Kobu. The GTR here at Tokyo proved to be one of the strongest cars out of all the other manufacturers. You had 3 of your teammates in Lobby A with you, and you actually did quite a bit of racing back and forth with them there. At one point, you were definitely in the top 3 battling, not only for the lead, but between Chili and Alex Rogers. But towards the end of the race, after the last pit stop, you finished around 5th place. So can you give us a bit of a rundown of your entire strategy for that race and how everything worked out for you?
Yeah. So qualification didn't really go so well. It's kind of cold in my room, so my feet got numb mid-quali. And basically, I didn't qualify as high as I'd like to, so I started 9th. So that meant that I needed to fight through the pack and get back up to my teammates. And then there were some incidents throughout the race, and I tried to focus a little bit on fuel saving, but the Citroen and the Beetle are just really good on fuel efficiency. So just one of the things I tried to focus on was trying to make sure that I would come out the pits around the same time as them. And then throughout the race, I just had a little misjudgment of my line through the shipyard, and I got a penalty, so I had to burn it, and that let Merit Maid go through. And then, yeah, it was just trying to coast all the way to the end from there.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, you had 3 of the GTR drivers up in Tier A. You had CRubennnn coming home with an excellent result in the podium position. A Tier B driver finishing on the podium. I believe that might be the first time in ARC history anyone has ever done that. You had your teammate stay qualifying pole, not the best race result from him after making a pit stop within the last 5 minutes to pit for a medium tire. But you came home in the top 5. So, and with those points finishes, you would take the lead in the manufacturer's championship. So what's next for you guys at Spa? Because at this point, I believe you would have quite a large margin over the Team 2 and the Volkswagens.
Yeah, I think the biggest focus going into Spa is that I've heard that the Supras and the GTRs are going to be pretty good around Spa. Not so much around the twisty bits, but definitely around some of the faster sections. So I think the big focus is trying to get 3 GTRs into Spa and into the top lobby. And yeah, I think the team overall just wants to take the constructors at this point. It seems like the TRA championship is a little out of question, but definitely the constructors is something we're going to look at.
All right. Well, not too much else to ask you other than just you had a fantastic race out there. Used the GTR to its utmost potential. As you've said in the past, you like to favor the Japanese tracks, and we saw it here today. A solid points result for you and your team, and hopefully good luck for you next race at Spa.
Yep, thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our driver interviews for today. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the racing just as much as me and Savloy did. As we were saying in the driver interviews, next race, next Sunday, the final round of our Season 3 Championship at Spa, the newly added Spa to Gran Turismo. So you won't want to miss that. Will Alex Rogers be crowned champion, or will other events see that he doesn't get his way this year? It'll be quite interesting. So as I mentioned, that's next weekend at next Sunday. And I believe, once again, on the 23rd, I want to bring this up again, we are hosting a 3-hour Spa endurance race, which I, myself, will be competing in. So if you want to watch that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It means a lot to us, and it helps you stay tuned for all the races that we have here and host. It means a lot to us. And once again, if you ever want to join ARC, you feel interested in competing with the drivers you see on screen, ARC is open to anyone and everyone that has Gran Turismo Sport and feels like competing, from wheel drivers to pad drivers. If you can get a DDR map working, you can figure out how to drive a car, we will let you drive that. There's a link in the description to our Discord where we host all of our races, all of our information, all of our championship points. So if you feel free or inclined to want to try it out and join, click that link and feel free to try it out. My name has been Lateral G. Once again, thank you all for watching this race. It means a lot to us. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, keep racing.